Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Geoff. Oh, man, where our mission is to bring impactful guests like we have coming up today from all over the world to share their experiences, their successes, and part of their struggle as they go through the comebacks in life, right? Giving you some impactful information and what I believe are empowering tools and solutions that you can put in your box and take that next step forward, that you can put in your box and overcome that obstacle that you're facing, that you too with the community support, can finally step into your purpose and live your best life, right? And hey, check this out. You take all that information and then you tap into what I believe is the most important thing that we all have access to it's underutilized, underappreciated, and undervalued. And that's that conversation you're having with yourself about yourself. Either talking to yourself or listening to yourself. That stinking thinking that we like to talk about in this community. You're going to hear from our guest how she overcame lots of different obstacles in her successful years, both in, I'll give you a little hint, in the military, and as a mom, and killing it in the real estate business, right? So set yourself up, get ready, turn off your phones unless you're taking notes. Share this information, give me one more time, and set up your notification bell because the young lady that I'm going to bring to the stage is really I'm excited about hearing from her, right? This is my first time really talking to her, guys, so we're going to have some fun today. Oh, and before we do, those of you that don't know, my name is Geoff Tyson, and I'm known as the Comeback King and the host of the show. And I got to ask you before we start, we talk about stinking thinking. When you looked in the mirror this morning, who did you see looking back at you? And did you like what you see? If you did, or if you didn't, I encourage you, stay tuned to this coming guest because she's going to light you up and raise you if you're doing well and bring you out of the funk if you're in that funk. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just talk just briefly about our next guest. She is a 22-year vet in the military services. In Navy, right? Mom, I think there's two little ones running around. I want to make sure. And man, she shows up on LinkedIn all the time. So those of you that have seen her post, she always is encouraging. She does a lot of great things. And guess what? She is a real estate multifamily. I want to call her an expert, right? Doing her thing, creating a community. I think the post I put in there is empowered women empower women. Right? And that's what we're going to see today, ladies and gentlemen. So with no further ado, let me bring to Conversations with Geoff our next guest, Lupei Chou. All right. Hey. How are you, my friend? Uh-oh, can you hear you? Here you go.
Hi.
Hey, Lupei, how are you today?
Hi, Geoff. Thank you for that introduction.
Yes.
You made me sound amazing.
Hey, your history just speaks for itself, right? You got to take credit when you do a lot of great things. So it's an honor to have you here today. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely love to share my story.
Yeah.
It's always fun to talk to other people. Just meeting new people and share encouraging stories.
Yeah, we always do that, and part of my mission is to find people that are out there just doing things, because you can and because you care, right? And the posts that you talk about, are just empowering and reminding people of the simple things in life and reminding us all about the gift we have in life. Yeah. So I guess I'm curious, what in your life, you had so many great things, but what in your life, or have you always been that person that's done that?
No, definitely not. I think I would say most of us are not feeling secure in our own skin, right? Like this is a process. Like you have to really work on and part of the growing up, I think. So no, most definitely not. But I'm learning to be more comfortable in my own skin and be comfortable with the person I was created to be.
Yeah. I love that. That's, I think a part of that is the stinking thinking that goes on that we talk about a lot in this community. That reminding of all the things, your past failures, your disappointments, all of the negative comments made about us, right? And I love what you said, not feeling secure being
Yeah,
who we are.
yeah. I'll give you like one perfect example. In my military career, so I would say when people meet me for the first time, they don't think I am in the military, and they
Yeah.
definitely don't think I'm a senior officer in the military.
Mm.
It is a stereotype. It's yet to overcome, as you
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
but things like that, I think causes a lot of insecurity. Like
Yeah.
I know it did for me, and just asking the question, do I fit in? Am I belong? So it is definitely a process I worked on, and through, I think it's part of the growing up and getting older and
Yeah.
have different perspective in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
Who I am and what I am, and it's okay to be different.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to add something too, just because this is how I think. Now, I'm going to say military and real estate, and we're going to stay here for a moment. But two industries, two professions that are I'll just say it because I'm pretty candid, are part of part of the traditional good old boy club. And so women and people of color, I'm not making excuses for anybody, but it's a challenge,
Yeah.
right? And I don't say that to complain. I just think it's more to you and to who you are, right? To still stand tall and overcome those things. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I brought it up. For those people who don't, I mean, you're in senior commanding roles, and look, bravo to you. I had to say that. So go ahead back to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true, and so you're in this situation, and you're climbing the ranks, and obstacles after obstacles, inner limiting beliefs going on too, but you kept moving forward. When did you kind of realize, man, I can do this thing? Do you remember?
I would say I think I would say one of the tools I have, I always had. I think I'm a positive person. Of course, I have my moments, right?
Yep. Yep.
But I think I am able to move on. Maybe after a day or two, it's like, okay, yeah, this is a bad day. I mean, I'll cry about it, be sad, feel sorry for myself for about a day or two. But you gotta get over it. You really do, because
Yeah.
you just can't sit there feeling bad for yourself all the time, because at the end of the day, Geoff, as you know, nobody cares, right? Like you gotta pick up yourself together,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
nobody cares.
And that's so true. And I laugh, but man, it's so true. But why do we care about what people think about us? Why is that?
Yeah, I think of course, like you care about, especially like the people in your life, right? Like your parents, your spouse, your family. But even even say to that, at the end of the day, there's really not much you can do, right? If you
Yeah.
are in a situation that you've got to dig yourself out, it's not something your mom or dad or
Yeah.
your husband or wife, or I mean, they're there to support, but it is just it's your battle to fight. So
Mm.
I do try to remember that, and build a strong support system
Yeah.
around me, just so when I have a bad day, like that reminds me of, okay, I'm still surrounded by people who love me. I'm still, I still have my health. I still have my husband, my
Yeah.
son, and
Yeah.
those are the things I know, like they keep me going.
Yeah. No, I like that. And like we were talking earlier before we came on the show, Houston was where we're at. We had a hurricane come through, and and my place was affected a little bit, but then it's kind of like you go out in the city and there's people that have trees in their houses. There's people who have lost their lives by going to bed at night and a tree coming in, and that's the end of their world, right? I mean, so there's always people that have it worse. But we still have to work on ourselves. I mean, I call it the reset muscle, the self-development muscle that, kind of like in the gym when you're doing that. And like you talk about working on yourself and all those things. I mean, and so you do this stuff, you're growing in your military presence, and were you married at a point? I mean, how did your family come together while you were doing this stuff, while you were in the military? You married before military, or how was that?
So I met my husband in 2016, and we got married in 2019. He is also in the Navy. We actually met overseas when we were both stationed overseas. We did long distance for about 2 years, and then we were able to get orders to DC together. So this is where we are now. We're in DC. So I started real estate when we moved back to DC about 6 years ago. Honestly, like, I was not an investor. I did not know anything about real estate. It was just like interesting, a series of events, because we came back from overseas. So we wanted to buy a home here. We sold our home in California. So it was a lot of transaction happened that year, which, like, really made me think, like, oh my God, like, there is like something about there's potential, right? There's opportunity there, because when we sold our home in California, we made a really good money.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up with like this cash, just trying to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
What investment, to make. That's how we actually got started. We bought our first rental properties, and second and third and fourth.
Yeah.
We actually got to like 6 stores.
Okay.
But at that point, I maxed out on everything, right? I maxed out my credit. I maxed out my money. And I maxed out my time, because it's so much work, like constantly with these rental properties, dealing with tenants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just drama with tenants.
Yeah.
So it was when we started asking the question, like, because like everybody knows there's money to be made in real estate. Like,
that's right.
Not a secret, right? But it's like, how do you do it? Because like, it's like I can't do anymore, because like I've maxed out on everything at this point, right? So
I'm just thinking back. I hear you telling my story, but keep going.
So we started, kind of educating ourselves. Of course, being mentored and coached.
Yes.
About commercial real estate, and that's how we really went from residential to commercial, and it's like the whole nother world. Just opened. That's how it happened.
Yeah. So you did the single family thing for a little while. So for folks out there that are thinking about going from single family to multifamily, which is the space you're in now, and killing it, by the way, congratulations. What you guys just did your thing, but what did you learn since we're here right now? What did you learn? Just a couple of things that you learned that you can tell people to avoid, right? Yeah.
I would say you're talking about in terms of like business, right?
Yeah, in
And
terms of going from single family to multifamily and the learning curve and but some just a couple points that you're like, oh man, if I'd have known that,
yeah.
you
So
know.
I think I would say like mindset is the biggest thing
Mm,
because I can tell you because I was once a single family investor and I've talked to a lot of single family investors. I still have friends who I mean who's doing that.
yeah.
I think the biggest difference in mindset is like when you are in the single family, it's more like my, right? Like
Mhm.
you want to kind of like do everything yourself. You want to keep as much profit for yourself and just try to do it all. And what's different about when you get in a big project like a commercial real estate, a multifamily, it's really about building the team and
Mhm.
sharing everything, right? You share the knowledge, you share the wealth, you share the opportunity. It's about like really understand there is enough for all of us.
Yeah,
So like be open to collaboration, be open to partnership, and just be
yeah,
open to opportunities, right?
yeah,
um, I think
yeah,
that's the biggest difference, in the commercial world where you just simply cannot do a project by yourself because they are big.
yeah, yeah. And it helps. And I see that you guys have put together a three-team company with you, the two co-founders, and that seems to have worked out pretty well for you. And I like that. And plus, with the commercial you're talking, there's a bigger pie to split. And to your point about single family, unless you're doing a development that has a massive return and 100 200 units or something like that, it is more like a my world.
Mhm.
I like the idea about building the team and all those things, and so you move into this space now, and you did you have was it a sad transition, or you're like, thank goodness you left you left that space, I mean, because it sounded like you were managing your own properties for single family.
I wasn't actually, but it feels
Oh,
like I was.
yeah.
I was. So I had a property manager. I have always had a property manager. I
Good.
never self-managed.
Yeah.
But the fact is that I think when you are in single family, unless you are really scaled, and I know people runs like a huge single family portfolio that
Mm.
able to actually bring on staff and maybe dedicated help.
Yep.
Um, so I had a property manager, but I'm still really involved when
Mm.
it comes to like everything, right? Because like when it comes to repair, so I anything above 250, he comes to me and say,
Yeah.
well, we got this thing broken. Now it's
Yeah.
like however much, right? Above 250. So now he went out there, get like at least two quotes. Let me review it. I'll make a decision. So I'm just still like very hands-on and
Okay.
very very much in the day-to-day. And I think that's what really kind of like it was stressful for me because I already have, I mean, I'm working, I have a full-time job, I
Yeah.
have a husband, I have a kid,
Yeah.
and
You're
I
not
think,
easy. Yes.
and
Yeah.
not to mention, like we also had tenant dramas, like people just cannot pay,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
have it's kind of like now you get in their lives and you try to like, okay, should we evict this person? Okay, we'll give them another week.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Oh man. Oh yeah. And then that week turns into a couple of months, and then that month turns into six, and then six into a year, and then there's COVID, and you can't throw them out, right? I mean, I'm just so here you are with a debt that you can't cover.
Yeah, I would say this though. I think there's no right or wrong when it comes to investment strategy, right? It's
Mm.
what's the right strategy for your situation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I met people with great success, doing single family, but again, they've been doing it since 1988 when price is cheap. And they have like 50 homes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to getting now. Like if you are trying to buy your first investment property, I would say it's not easy.
Yeah.
The numbers simply do not work
Yeah. Yeah.
when you are paying like 7% interest or 8.
It makes it tough. Most definitely does. And I mean, there's still people trying it, and I encourage, because I'm the single family guy, but I'm in real estate for us, and our venture has always been about the rehab part of the business. And, we would buy the biggest, nastiest property, and that was our trademark, right? So yeah, at one point they called us, like, this name keeps coming up, the king of rehabs was our name for a while. And I got the king of comeback from that, because we would buy these nasty houses where people think we should tear them up and then rebuild them. And then had some passive income stuff. So I'm one of these people that is moving into the multifamily and commercial side. And that's the other part that attracts me to what you guys are doing. But your model, you talk about sharing the pie. So your business today, your multifamily business and how it's structured, can you share how that looks or what that looks like for folks that may be interested in having some dollars sitting on the sidelines that may not want the hassles of the day to day stuff, but like collecting a check or a dividend every month? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, for sure. So another point I wanted to make when it comes to, I mean, in addition to the timing, right? Like when you
Yeah.
get into the market, it's really like your personal situation. Like,
Yeah.
how much time do you have to be,
Mm.
to dedicated to like managing rehab or flipping,
Yeah.
managing your properties, managing your tenant, right? Like, I was super excited. I was like, oh, about it, in the beginning. But honestly, after a few years, I was just getting worn out. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. So, like, really, like, assess your situation. Yeah, like, do I have the bandwidth to, dedicate 20 hours a week or however many hours a week
Mm.
to do this? Um, so what we do now, me and my partners, we buy apartment buildings,
Mm.
um, and basically, what's so good about multifamily, doing it together as a team is really it allows you to first specialize in whatever you're good at.
Yeah.
So, for example, you may be really good at analyzing numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you may not be strong at rehab or
Yeah.
construction, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, or you may be really good at talking to people, talking to investors, but
Yeah.
you're not good at something else.
Yeah.
So when you do things as a team, you're able to kind of like utilize your strength, and then whatever you're not good at,
Yeah.
bring out somebody else, and
Go,
then do it.
go find the who, right? Always finding the who. Who can help? Who can do this? Who can do that? I love that. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And then, of course, for the investors, we bring passive investors, people like me, or I know there are a lot of people out there who want to get into real estate. They probably be thinking about it for years,
Yep.
never pull the trigger
Yep.
because they just simply don't understand, okay, where do I start? And of course it's the fear to overcome, right? Like
Yep.
buying that rental property. So then, and that way when you invest in a commercial property that is professionally managed, then you really can kind of like leave that whole headache with the professional, right?
Yeah.
Not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You simply put your money to work,
Yeah.
and you get all the benefits as a real estate investor, the depreciation, the equity growth, the cash flow.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty about doing a bigger project with a bigger team. Everybody wins.
Yeah. Yeah. And the business just keeps evolving, right? Your appreciation happens. You acquire more properties, and the opportunity to continue to invest just continues to grow with the right company. And you guys have done a tremendous job from what I've been able to see. And I think you're, $7-8 million worth of business now, and that just didn't happen overnight. That took some work.
It did. Building a team, as you can imagine, when you are building a bigger team, your ramping up process is going to be longer and
Yeah.
just takes more. Really figure out the right pieces,
Yeah.
the right team players.
Mm-hmm.
But once your team is built, it's just a great. It's great when you see how things come together and that um, the energy,
Yeah.
start working together. So yes, I would say it's good. I love working with the team. Of course, from my military background, right? Like we are so focused on building a team
Yeah.
in the military because you never do a mission alone.
Right.
So working with the team has always been my favorite because it's not fun sitting here by myself doing myself, right? When you have you have good teammates that you can bounce ideas, you can just talk, you can make each other better. I
Yeah.
love that aspect of it.
Yeah, and that shows in all your posts too, and how you're encouraging and more importantly, authentic. When your day's just not going the way you want, like you said earlier, you take a few minutes and poor me for just a moment, and then you hit the reset button and get back on track, right? And all those things are doing that. So in your commercial side and on your team, what is it that you do well? I mean, when you look at all the things, what's your skill set, and how did that become?
Yeah, so on my team, I am the person that's in charge of investor relations.
Hmm.
So what that entail is I meet a lot of people, I talk to them, of course, I bring on the new investors, but then also I take care of our existing investors, right? People
Okay.
who invested with us.
Mhm.
If they have questions, they have. I mean, most of the time, people have questions about their taxes. They
Yeah.
want to pay rent.
Always about the taxes, right? Yeah.
And of course, like you just have investors who want to know, like, okay, what's going on? I have questions about this. They have questions about, like the project, how things are going, the financials. So I take care most of that, and I take care of like any new investors who may be interested in coming in, join us. And we do a lot of education as well because we know this is not everybody is familiar with this model,
Yeah.
and it can be really overwhelming in the beginning, and I also think for some people it is a thing to overcome, to let me hand over my money and trust you to invest for me. Uh,
Yes.
we do a lot of education. We make sure people are educated and they know what they're doing. They know
Right.
what they're getting themselves into.
Right. That's important,
Mhm.
because some investors I've seen will just welcome anybody's money and not recognize, the risk tolerance that person may or may not have. Not recognize that this is or appreciate that this is they're taking maybe their child's college tuition and putting it in real estate, and that's a whole other conversation that should be had, right? I mean, because you have a responsibility to make sure, like you're saying, that hey, listen, and then educate them on what the possibilities are, because there are no guarantees,
Yeah.
right? There are no guarantees, and I would always just say to people, hey, if you had $25,000 and somebody walked by and dropped a match on it and all burned up, how would you respond?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I mean, because that's the realities of our business, the pieces that people don't. But I believe that you guys protect people that way, your business wouldn't be growing. I believe.
Yeah, I think multifamily is it's a pretty safe. I mean, on the scale of like safe to risky, right? It's
Yeah.
really like more on the safe side.
Hmm.
But like you said, it is an investment, and all investments come with risk.
Yep.
Then people need to understand the risk and be able to tolerate
Yeah.
that risk level.
Yeah.
So we do talk to, and we also look at interesting story. Just happened recently. We had an older gentleman who's really interested in investing. He's about 70 years old. Um, but his accountant advised against it because for this particular project, it's going to be a 5-year hold. So
Mm.
the accountant was just not comfortable with for him being at his age at
Yeah.
70
Yeah.
to enter a investment is going to be a 5-year whole time, right?
Hmm.
I do understand, when it really depends on your, where you are in life.
Yeah.
Not every investment is going to be a right investment for everybody.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But some people, like to my point again, that's why anybody that's out here and listening to this, I encourage you to reach out to Lupe and her team and have a conversation around how do you invest money and why you should invest money with them. Because I've seen in her communications what I believe to be a key ingredient, and that's the caring of those that invest. That's the caring of those in terms of understanding what their investment will do and the risk involved. So I just, because I deal with a lot of people in real estate and have done, my share of businesses and deals that, some were great and some were not so great.
Mhm.
You know?
And Geoff, I'm sure you would agree, right? The last thing you want to know or you want to hear is like some investor come back to you and say, "Why did you get me into this mess?" So you really want to make sure people are the right fit.
Yeah, yeah,
They are in the position to, do a project together.
right.
Yeah.
Right. No, no, you're right. And I've had those few come to me that way. So it's not fun when
No.
that happens. It is not. And those are the realities of it. But look, we've talked a little bit about your military, a little bit about the real estate. Now we're almost out of time. Just sorry, I'd like to have you back maybe to talk more about, because there's got to be a lot of similarities in leadership between military and building a business and communication and the differences and all those things. But what is one thing that you, based off of what we've talked about, that you want to leave people with, that they would be thinking about, to that maybe that person out there that's thinking about it, or someone that's curious but not thinking about it yet? What we talk some of the good things around why it's important to do real estate, but what do you want to leave those people out there that are maybe on the fence or have had a bad experience or
Yeah. In related to real estate, right?
yeah.
Okay. I think okay, this one thing because I learned this myself really throughout my journey, right? I think that there is people kind of like have this mindset like I'm gonna find that deal is gonna change my life. Like that is the one deal I need. My whole life is gonna be improved. They may be out there, those deals may be out there, but I can tell you that most of us don't find them. But I would say like investment in general, right? Real estate included, it's really about time. in the time, like over time, like how much time you allow your investment to sit. So it's the same for stock, it's the same for real estate, like do it today and then like give yourself that 5 years, 10 years horizon to learn your investment grow. You probably wish, like all of us, wish that we bought like the house like 5 years ago and 10 years ago, right? But we didn't.
It's just,
So do it like now. So the 5 year you, the you in 5 years or 10 years would be glad that you did what you did today. Even for a small investment, because sometimes people feel like, oh, the return is not so great. I want to find something better. But the more you sit on your money, the more you're waiting, you are just losing that opportunity every day. So I would say do it now. That's the best thing, to getting now early. Time will fix all the problems.
yeah.
Bad returns.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. So what minimums do you folks have? I know it's another question, but since you're talking about in 5 year term, what minimums do you guys have, and are you strictly dealing with accredited investors?
No, we don't. But here's the thing, right? Like, as you know, if you are non-accredited, those offerings we cannot go public.
Yeah.
So you won't even see like the offering you see that's on the internet, on social media, they are for accredited investors. But the non-accredited offerings, you don't see them. And then they really just go to kind of like, say, our network or whoever is offering that. So that's based on relationship, right? So because I cannot legally solicit the deal to publicly if it's for non-accredited, but which is the reason why it's important to have that relationship, which is the reason why we do a lot of education. So you coming to our community and build relationship. We can show you what we're doing. We can educate you on the project we are working on. That way you will get access to those deals, not being advertised publicly.
Yeah. That's kind of why I brought it up. I mean, there's some perks to that, to building those relationships and being connected like that, and it kind of takes the excuse off the table about, well, I'm limited because I'm not. So now you don't have that excuse. Now it's having more conversations and reaching out to you. So how do people get a hold of you? I mean, what's the best way to do that? So those that are interested or have questions that may want to reach out to you.
So you can find me on LinkedIn. Like Geoff talked about, I am always on LinkedIn under my name, Lupei Chou. If you want to email me directly, it's Lupei, my first name, at Crown Capital Corp. Crown Capital, right here. Crown Capital. Crown Capital Corp, corp.com. That's my email. I'm happy to connect and have a conversation just to get to know you, get to know your goals, and hopefully we do some deals together.
Well, yeah, I would encourage people to do that, because I'll go to the website, take a look at it. It's the real deal. And also, I believe the other two partners are on the website too, so you can see what her community is like. I really, listen, I believe this to be true, like you said at the beginning of the conversation. Real estate is where it's at, right? I mean, and whether it be multifamily or single family, it doesn't hurt to have a conversation with an expert in a space that you don't have, like we have here on the show today, and expand your knowledge. You never know when the right deal comes along that you may not have the money for now, but if you build the relationships and communicate with this person like Lupei, you can't go wrong. So I want to just say it's been great chatting with you, and this first time really having a conversation. I'm looking forward to having more. And so you already told them to plant the seed and let it grow for 5 years. You give us one more quick nugget, and then we'll get out of here.
Well, I would say this is not real estate related. I would say this is just, maybe like a general life lesson, like I learned along the way. I know we talked about earlier, right, about our insecurities
Yeah.
and things like that. But honestly, like now I'm older and wiser. I would really say, like, whoever you are, wherever you are out there listening to this, and whatever idea you have, it's brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
don't ever doubt yourself. Like,
Mm.
really, like, go after your dreams, whatever it is. If it's buying real estate, if it's being a singer, if it's, I don't know, I don't know, own a coffee shop, whatever it
Yeah.
is, like, your idea is brilliant. The world does not teach us about valuing ourselves.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
say definitely believe in yourself and go after your dreams.
Wow. Oh man, we talk about that all the time. And way to end the show. And go be bold, go be beautiful, go find your purpose. Because as they say, your message, our message, there's people out there that only can hear ours. And
Mhm.
and those of us, we're all meant to have some purpose in this world. So thank you for that. I love
Yeah,
that. You
thank
know,
whatever like I'm sharing with the audience is really like the things I had to tell myself, right?
yeah.
Because it's not easy. It is like some days I just bad. Like it's like I just have a bad day. Like I need to encourage myself.
Oh, listen, I've had not just days, it's been a month of daily encouragement. And I don't see it changing here in the next couple of days for myself. So I hear you. You know, the greatest sales job we have to do every day, encouraging job, is on ourselves.
Amen to that. Yes.
Mm, mm, mm. All right. Hey, well, we got to run. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Your smile lights up the screen, and continue to be great. And hopefully have it back on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. This has been so much fun. Like let's definitely do it again. You're on mute.
Yeah, I got muted somehow, but
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to it because there's a lot of questions I didn't get to that I think the people need to have answers for. So
For
thank you,
sure.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, see you soon.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.
Mm. So I'm just going to say what she said, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. But I'm going to say one more thing too. Go back, reach out to her, and find out what's going on in and around the multifamily real estate. Whether you're doing it or not, I think it's something that she can help you with. And more importantly, start checking out her posts. She talks about being bold, living into your purpose. She means it. I challenge you. Don't let thinking stop you from doing what you need to do to live a great life. We appreciate her today. Go back and listen to some things she's talked about. You know, take some notes on it, and let's get busy in the real estate business. Because I always tell people every day, there's still no better time than now to get involved in real estate. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do commercial first. That's just saying. That's me. So, hey guys, have a great day. Appreciate everybody. Share this information. A calendar link is going across the bottom. Make sure you reach out to me if you need more information. And have a fantastic day. Bye now.